I think is, again, like a very horrible punishment. And people learn this. It's not like they come up with it. This is learned behavior.
You're listening to Squeeze Lines, where truth stings, laughs heal, and nothing's off limits. I'm Tyler, the daughter.
I'm Robin, the mom. And if life gives you lemons,
We're squeezing lines instead.
so grab a seat, open your mind, and get ready to laugh or cry because we're not here to play nice.
We're here to get real.
Today we're talking about families and some rules to live by that I think keep all family members safe and clear. Well,
They are.
it doesn't go in order, but like apologizing, I think right away is a really hard thing to do for many people, but it makes a huge difference.
Absolutely.
Like owning up to your responsibility in it, if you have a responsibility in it, meaning taking
Right.
responsibility. So I
Yeah.
think the time period for me would be like within that day. I don't believe to go further than that. It would be
I see, like you need to cool off and then come back
right,
and then
right,
apologize.
right. I think
Mm.
I'm
So-
usually a big fan of 24-hour rule, so I guess
Right.
that could be, but no more than that.
I would say, again, like it depends on the relationship and the situation. But if the second you realize that maybe you were the one that was in the wrong,
Yeah,
apologize right away.
I agree. It's like do the
second
next
that you
right
realize.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you're needing some time for self-reflection and you didn't realize that it was you,
Right.
I think, you pause the conversation because maybe you think the other person needs to apologize or you just need to cool off. Do so within the hour.
I think so. Yes.
And I think then you just go for it.
Right.
And
Like I'm really
just-
sorry. I just blew
Yeah.
up and it wasn't about you and that kind of thing. If you are responsible, meaning if you could
Yeah.
actually get there
Right.
to even know that this is your responsibility or
Yeah.
that whatever you take responsibility. Okay. And another one would be,
Well, hold on. Before you continue,
okay.
I want to talk about apologizing for a second.
Okay.
I do think that it's super important that all parties can and should apologize. So, for example, if it's a parent-child relationship and the parent is thinking that the child needs to apologize for their behavior, I think it's important that it is okay as the parent, as the adult, as the elder to also apologize and role model if you were the one that was in the wrong.
100%.
I think a lot of people nowadays, especially in the older generation, think that there's this hierarchy of, well, you respect me and
Right.
I can do whatever I want.
That's not okay.
That's not okay.
I don't think that's a great rule. I don't know what that is. That's like
I don't think it's a rule. I think it's just like in people's head that like their
Oh,
generation
right.
of
Respect your elders.
parents and
Well,
their
it is like
grandparents.
respect your elders, that kind of thing.
But
I think.
there's I think a fine line between respect your elders versus respect goes both ways.
Of course.
And if the elder is not respecting the youngster, then you need to apologize no matter how old you are,
Right,
no matter
right.
what your relationship is. And I think even as, a parent with a child, and something that I've always done is if I've made a mistake to my child or my students that I've worked with, I always apologize. The second I realize, like, I'm so sorry,
Right. I think it's the
got
ego.
frustrated.
I think you're right. It's the ego of the elder
Yeah.
that thinks that they should come to you, right?
Mhm.
And everyone should come to you. And that is not how it goes. Usually it would be amazing if grandparents would say, you know what? I made a mistake and I'm really sorry and I'm not perfect and I should know better and I really made a big mistake and I want to say I'm really sorry. And kids like are shocked by it, but you're teaching at that very moment.
Yes, you're teaching maturity.
They're like, oh, you made a mistake and you said so. Because parents make mistakes every day.
Because we're all human. And if
course.
you lead by example and you show, hey, I own and take responsibility for what the actions and the things that I've done, you're teaching everyone else in the room, despite age,
Right.
the right thing to do.
Right.
And that is to own up and take responsibility for your actions.
That's a good family lesson. It's a good lesson for, it's really not family lessons. It's just in life, right?
In life.
All your relationships.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember when I got heated in a meeting and I was so passionate about something. And then I thought, okay, maybe that came off not the way I intended. And so I later went to my coworker. I was like, I don't know if you got this vibe from me. If you did, I'm so sorry. That was not my intention.
Yeah.
This was my intention. And they're like, oh, I didn't even realize, but that's great. And at least I was taking responsibility. So it could be not only family, but in your workplace. It could also be in friendships and
Oh, for sure.
in any kind of relationship. So I think
Exactly.
it's so important that you're owning your mistakes, you're learning and reflecting on your mistakes, and then you're apologizing to that person for the thing that happened
Totally.
or you did.
I like that. Okay. On to the next. Yes.
Sure.
Be present,
Absolutely.
not just around. So you could be around and you're like, I've been here all day, but that's not being present. So what does being present to you look like?
Being present is being focused on what is happening in this moment. It is understanding all of your senses in that moment. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you tasting? What are you feeling? Understanding what's happening internally. Are you having certain emotions that come up for you in this moment? What is that? What does it feel like in your body? What does it feel like in your mind? You're currently focused on present within, and then that reflects into present without. And so I'm looking at you, I'm talking to you, I'm not thinking one step ahead when you share something with me. I'm fully actively listening, and then I will give my chance to say what I need to say. It's all based in the present moment. And I think the only way you can base yourself in the present moment is by grounding yourself. So in whatever situation you're in, you're fully there. You're fully aware.
Okay.
And you're not thinking about the past. You're not thinking about the future. You're just in the situation, in the moment, squeeze it moment.
Okay. Excellent. With no, obviously, devices
Yes.
of any kind.
Yes. Which
Okay.
is huge. So like we talked about before, if your phone
Yeah.
is in front of you while we're sitting like this,
That's shitty.
it doesn't feel like you're present.
Right,
Or
not at all.
another like pet peeve of mine, if someone has like an Apple Watch or a smartwatch
Oh,
and they're constantly doing this,
it's the same thing.
because it's buzzing,
Right.
and they're, getting text messages or alerts or notifications for whatever. And they're like, oh, keep talking. Just don't worry about it. I'm like,
Yeah.
ew, no, thank you.
So that goes on in my office. Well, it doesn't go on in my office because everyone now knows they take off their Apple Watches. They put down their phones. It's inappropriate. And
Yeah.
listen, they're paying me. It's rude and it
Right.
interrupts them and our session. Like, what
Right.
would be the point? So let's go on.
Yeah.
We can go on forever. Never use past mistakes. So I call that the gunny sack, meaning you could like build up all the mistakes that somebody had, all the resentment that you've had in the past with them, and you like carry it around like Santa Claus, and and then you whip it out at them about something at the present moment, and then you did this last year, and then at my wedding you did this, and then like when I was born you did that. Like, it's crazy.
Sure, yeah.
That is off the table. You cannot
Absolutely.
use the past in your fights
Yes.
at all.
What did you call it?
A gunny sack. Like
gunny sack.
Yeah, it's like one of the sacks, like a Santa sack.
Okay.
And you like put all the stuff in it that person did, and you just kind of whip it at them. And
Yeah.
it's like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
You can't. It's not allowed.
Okay.
It's absolutely not allowed. There is
I like
fair
that.
fighting, and then there's unfair fighting.
Yeah.
That is unfair.
And I don't necessarily like to use the word fighting, because if you're having a discussion,
Yeah.
it's different,
Right,
and
right,
an
right.
argument, but fighting is, I think, unfair no matter what. So when you're having a discussion and it's something that's mature with your parents,
Or a
your
disagreement.
siblings, your
Is that what you mean? Meaning you can disagree. You can have a
It's still a
disagreement. You can have
discussion.
a discussion.
So when you have a disagreement in your discussion,
A debate.
it's all the
Okay.
same thing.
Yeah.
When you're arguing with that person or you're trying to get your point across, you're right. You should not throw out the history of things that have happened or repeated.
There's no reason.
Now, there's a time and place. If there's a specific situation, you're only talking about that situation, period. You're not bringing up the past.
That's what, yeah.
If you need to have a conversation about how this person has continued to show up in maybe a toxic way, maybe they showed up in a repetitive way that is crossing boundaries that you've set, if there is something that is a little bit deeper and broader in general that needs to be brought up to this person's attention.
Well, then that should have happened a long time ago. And that's what I would think.
Okay.
I guess it depends on the situation, right? Like if you aren't addressing it right away and you're kind of, right? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying the only way that someone shows a behavior that becomes
Like a habit?
more alarming is when it becomes repetitive. So if you, for example, are continuing to cross a boundary over and over and over again, then I will actually need to sit you down and say, hey, I've set this boundary and now we're going to talk about these are the examples. So you're aware of what you've done.
Okay. That's it. Okay. Those are examples. That's different. You're right. That is different.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like
slinging
the situation
past.
with whatever situation it is.
Right.
Say I'm mad at you for doing XYZ.
Right.
I'm only talking about that situation. Now let's say you're continuing to cross a boundary 3, 4, 5, 6 times, and it's still not. You're not respecting that boundary. Then I'll sit you down and say, these are all the times you crossed this boundary, and this is something that we need to move forward with and figure out.
Okay.
So I agree with certain situations and then I disagree with certain situations.
And you get to.
Thanks.
Sometimes. Okay.
I think a good rule of thumb in not only families, but also friendships is you show up in the hard moments. However, something specific about friendships is you also show up in the good moments, because some friends really like to help and fix and kind of mooch off of you being down in your bad days.
For sure.
And then they're not good there in your good days because they're envious or they're jealous or they're whatever. So I think that's important for people to note is that, yes, you should be there for the hard days for your friends and your family members and supporting them when they're at their low.
For sure.
But then you also need to be their biggest cheerleader when they're on their high.
Right.
And I think a lot of people don't do that because they're like, oh, I like to see that you're low. And it builds me up with power.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel better about my life.
Like company loves misery loves company.
Yeah. And then when you're doing well, I don't like that, and I'm not going to be around for it. I'm not going to cheer you on.
But then why would you really want them as friends?
That's why I'm saying people.
But what
need
about
to pay
family
attention.
members? You can't really get rid of them. So you know
can.
your customer.
You
I always talk about that. Know your customer.
Wait,
no.
For a second. You absolutely can get rid of family members.
No, I know you can. I'm just saying know who to talk to, what to expect from certain family members and not. And have a conversation with them about what your expectations are and if they can abide by those and vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's something that's really good for everyone to just be aware of. Yes, for your good days, but I think a lot of people don't talk about being a big cheerleader for your good. Wait, let me rephrase that.
Yes, for the crisis.
Yes, for the crisis. Yes, for the bad days. Yes, for the low moments, but also most importantly, there for the good moments and being a cheerleader.
Absolutely. Positivity.
Yeah.
Yes. So people joke around, right? A lot, especially families, because they can or they think they can. And sometimes it really hurts. And sometimes it's really old, meaning I'd call it the Thanksgiving syndrome. People get together on Thanksgiving that they haven't seen each other in a year, and they sit at that table and everyone goes right back into their like childhood positions.
Yes, their roles.
that is crazy to me
Yes.
because don't let that happen. Just it's almost like you have to bring a conversation to the table if that continues and people are like making jokes or like, oh yeah, Robin always does this or Tyler, no. Like, do you know me? Why this doesn't have to continue. And this is what
Yes.
happens in families. And this is what happens. Family patterns continues and they roll onto the next generation and the next. And what's the point?
Yeah.
Like, that's not fun for anyone.
Yeah.
Right?
I do think it's two separate things too. When you go back into your old patterns as a child around your family members, I think that a big part of it is you're not building a continuous deep relationship with that person. So you fall back into what you were comfortable with and what you know. And then also on the other token, when you were talking family patterns, I think that's a separate situation where when you repeat, generational toxicity.
But people let their Thanksgiving dinner like run them. And then that's when I get a lot of calls. It's like, I don't want to be here anymore. I don't even know, so.
Totally. And I think going home for the holidays, whatever holiday is celebrated or whatever family event, I should say, that people get so much anxiety and stress.
I don't even want to. I'm like, then don't.
Right.
You don't have to. That's
Totally.
the beauty of it. You
Totally.
don't have to.
You don't have to. If you want to, because you never see them or, you're whatever, set some boundaries.
Right.
We
like,
talk
I want to
about
be
boundaries.
here. But this is who I am today. And I don't like the jokes that when I was 10 or 15, like,
Totally.
I
mean, I'll talk about one that was targeted at me my whole life. I've always been known to be late
oh my God.
to everything.
Yeah. But
There it is.
Well, but yeah.
So
Are you still? Did you fix
I got
that?
so much better, significantly better when I was in college. Everything was
I
great.
knew you
right
would.
after,
You would have to be there. You would have to show up.
but then right after college, so great. And then particularly some certain family members would always pick on me and tell me over and over again how late I will be or how late I used to
that's
be.
That's that person's trigger, I think.
And it was a continuous tease and joke. And I then subconsciously fell back into that role because I was told that I'm always late over and over and over again.
So you let it run you.
Consciously.
No,
I didn't mean
right,
to. I
no.
try so hard
Yeah.
to be on time because
But now you are.
now that I'm picked on,
Well, now you've
for
noticed it. I guess you
I
identify
have
the
always
situation.
noticed it. It
no,
has
I mean,
always
so
been
then
a
how
part
did you
of my
change it?
life.
Because now you're better at that.
I'm so much better at it. And
Because you were done letting
When
anyone else
I'm-
like run that narrative, right? I mean, how did you said subconsciously you went backwards and then just started being late again? Like, who
because
cares?
when someone tells you over and over and over again who you are, you're going to start to believe it,
yeah.
no matter how hard you try not to.
Yeah.
And so it's really hard and tricky when that was a trait you had as a child and then you fixed it as an adult, but then fell back into that pattern because your family kept telling you that you were the same.
So that's what I was asking you. How did you then? I mean, you identified it again after it being subconscious in your brain, and then
Of course.
you
And
picked
I
it back
still
up.
try. And the times that I am late, it is like such a big issue in my brain because I know that I've fallen back into whatever insecurity or whatever trait I used to have and don't want to have and whatever. If someone is showing you a trait that they have been working on or they're trying to do better at, don't go pick on them about what they used to do.
Correct. That's what I'm trying to say is that those.
But I
That's
just
the
did it, and
syndrome.
then you
No,
gave me
what-
the look that I'm always late.
No, that was a problem. That's why I was like sighing because it was always a problem, and that was a problem with you and your brother every morning for school, and so yeah, it's a ripple effect, right? It affects everybody. But I like that you've picked it up and you didn't let people's commentary as an adult run you, or use that as this is my identity. This doesn't define you. It was a habit that you had. So it's now corrected. But you're right. people should acknowledge that you don't do that anymore. Instead of, if you're
It's
10
not
minutes late,
even-
they're like, there you are, right?
It's not
then
even
it brings you back.
an acknowledgement. Stop making fun of me.
Right, because it hurts.
Stop with
so
the jokes.
That's what,
it's not that it hurts.
well, it
It's
does
just
hurt.
ridiculous.
It's wounds.
But it's ridiculous. Like, what?
Okay.
Why are you feeling the need to judge and
Well, that's
be
what we're
rude
talking about
to
is
someone
don't
else?
judge other people's insecurities.
Yeah.
Don't jump on them and make them
Yeah.
worse because
Right.
they are wounds. They
Right.
do, it does hurt.
Yeah.
And family members do that the best. They know
Yes.
exactly how to do that.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's like we're nicer to the coffee barista than we are to
Right.
ourselves, and that's not very fair.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense actually if you think about it,
It doesn't.
because your family are your people, hopefully,
Hopefully.
or the family that you make and the family that you choose
Yes.
are your people.
Yes.
So then why bring stuff up? People think it's funny and cute and young, but that's not how it goes.
All right. Let's continue.
Okay, respect.
There are certain non-negotiables, and when you have a strong relationship with someone, you show respect.
Yeah.
So that means that you're not going out of your way to insult someone, just like we were saying with the jokes. You're not calling them names. You're not giving a silent treatment.
That I think is like
the worst.
I call it the silent fuck you. Like,
It is, because it is.
horrifying. I think that's the worst thing that could be done to somebody, because there's no movement.
There's no respect.
It's a shutdown. It's a shutdown. Like, they're done and you have no movement. You don't know what to do here. And
Well,
it just makes the
yeah.
other person, and it's supposed to make the other person feel terrible, and it works. But it's
that is the
worst characteristic of being in a disagreement.
Yes.
And disrespectful.
And it's so immature.
Yes. But people do that.
I know people do that. And I think that it's really
Shaming. It's
disrespectful.
shaming,
It's
right?
shaming.
Yeah.
You're breaking trust. You're breaking the relationship. There is nothing good that comes out of a silent treatment.
Right.
Nothing. So if you need time to process,
But that's exactly
Great.
right. Like,
Then you
hey,
say
I'm going to
that.
be back. I need to cool off.
yes.
And I need to call you later, and I will do so before 5, or I'll do so at 7:30, and then
Yes.
we'll talk about it if you're able to at that point, because then there's some sort of ending. There's some sort of meat here that you could hold on to, that it's going to come. And so instead you are wandering and flailing out there. And that, I think, is again, like a very horrible punishment. And people learn this. It's not like they come up with it. This is learned behavior. Most likely it's happened to them, and so they just repeat it. However, I'm fairly certain that because that's such a horrible thing to feel, I've said to people who've done that, like, please just don't do that. We can have a conversation, or just tell me you're going to leave and come back and you just need to cool off, whatever it is.
yeah, exactly.
But silence for long periods of time, I've been in fights where it's sometimes a week in silence, and there's no getting through. And that's just not how I live.
And then it's, of course, hurting the other person, but it's also hurting you. What's the point?
Well, I don't know if it's hurting them, because I think the power lies within them, in their brain, and this is what they think. That's what I think.
I mean,
Because they're controlling. It's control.
Let's say, for example, it's a parent-child, and the parent has learned through their own generations and their own trauma to give the silent treatment to the children.
Yeah, I don't know where there's room for that.
What do you have to say about that?
About the person who is silencing the child?
Yeah.
I think it's the worst thing you can ever do to a person. First of all, you're teaching them what that is, which is shitty. And second of all, why would you want to do that to your own kid? Because there's assholes out there that actually do.
Mm-hmm.
And third, it's control. It's the same thing. It's control. It's what you were talking about earlier on. It's, I'm bigger than you. I know more than you. You respect me. none of that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that's over and out as far as I'm concerned. I have
Yeah.
no room in my life for that, and I don't think anyone should.
Yeah. So really getting down to the nitty gritty is just basic respect. Even if you get in disagreements, you always talk it out. You find a resolution. Even if you don't 100% fully agree on the resolution or you don't agree on the other person's point of view,
That's okay.
that's okay.
It should be. I mean, everyone has their own opinion. That's okay.
Yes.
Just be heard.
Yes.
Just listen and carry on.
yeah,
It's okay
and you
to
need to
agree
move
to
on.
disagree, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with
So
you.
I think some of those are rules to live by, again, in your family, for sure. And then with your life, in your life, your friendships,
Yeah.
your relationships, work, friends, family, all
Absolutely.
of it. Yeah.
I agree.
Be
Those are
respectful.
good ones.
Be kind, right?
Yeah.
Just be kind. That's so nice.
All right.
All right. Talk to you later.
Catch you later.
Thanks for hanging out with us.
Be sure to follow, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a good squeeze.
Of course, everybody needs one.
See you next time on Squeeze Lines.